I think we're watching the real-time slow motion collapse of Xbox. There's been a lot of movement in the Xbox space for the last couple months now, and most of it's not good. We've got a new CEO who comes from an AI background at Xbox. They're trying to walk the logo back and be like, hey guys, we're all about Xbox, we're all about the games, whatever. And then yesterday, we had a massive shoe drop, I guess. The other shoe dropped, and it was a boot to the head for a lot of people. The CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, basically said that Xbox makes no money. It's been subsidized for over 2 decades, and it's time to pay the piper. And what that means is a lot of layoffs and a lot of studios getting shut down. And now we have game outlets like Polygon saying that Microsoft should just get out of video games altogether before it's too late, that the damage has been done. And we know Xbox has been struggling for the last couple of years. We've covered it off and on here on the channel. There's a lot of cope in the Xbox community that, you know, Xbox is fine. They were latching on the Starfield. I remember that because that was like the one exclusive they had, and it didn't go very well. And then people were posting pictures of empty shelves at retailers like Walmart and Target, and there weren't any Xbox consoles because they weren't stocking them. And people said this is fine. They raised the price twice in a year on the Xbox consoles. They're ridiculously expensive now, and it's old-ass hardware. People said this is fine. They wanted to do Xbox everywhere, which meant that there was no reason to even buy a console, and they scrubbed out at Christmas. Nobody bought Xbox. It was like dead last on the list of consoles that were sold at Christmas. People said, this is fine, barely an inconvenience, nothing is wrong with Xbox, everything's good, whatever. And then to have the CEO come out and say flat out, YouTubers are making more money than we are off of our games. That's not good. That's not good. That is literally the worst case scenario, which means he's bracing everybody for massive layoffs and shutdowns, which we're already starting to see today. They're shutting down some studios. And again, we've got Polygon of all places saying Microsoft needs to just quit. They need to just give it up. So that's pretty bad. We're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, if you'd like more Clownfish TV, go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more episodes and podcasts you will not find here on YouTube. And also, speaking of podcasts, if you'd like to listen to the audio version of Clownfish TV, go out to iHeartRadio, go out to Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, and we are there. Thank you very much for the support. And yeah, we got a bunch of stories here. We're going to talk about Polygon, of course, calling for Xbox to be shut down and Microsoft to sell off Xbox before it's too late. We've got them closing down studios. It's been confirmed that they're closing down some studios, and I think it's going to continue throughout the week, and then we're going to have a bunch of layoffs on top of that. And they're actually willing to let people buy now and pay later on games, which is probably not a good idea, but that just reeks of desperation. Like, if you have to break your $50 game up into payments, how the hell did you afford to buy an Xbox in the first place? I'm just saying. So let's take a look at what's going on here. Kotaku's got, see, this was yesterday. They had an article speculating that they were going to shut down some of these studios, including the studio behind South of Midnight, which I know about a year or so ago was controversial for DEI stuff, but they also did We Happy Few, which was pretty good. It got kind of boring halfway through it. So they're speculating they're going to shut them down. And also Ninja Studio, or Ninja Theory, I'm sorry. Ninja Theory is confirmed shut down. So let's go out to this one. This is coming from The Verge. Compulsion Games and Double Fine are also in active negotiations about spinning off. So they're closing down Ninja Theory, the studio behind the Hellblade series, the source tells The Verge. Staffers were told on a call on Monday about the closure, but they're hoping the studio will find a buyer. So they're looking to jump ship. A lot of these studios that Microsoft gobbled up and horribly mismanaged are looking to get the hell out and go independent again. The closure comes as several Xbox studios at Microsoft, including Compulsion Games and Double Fine, are in active negotiations about spinning off. The closure and negotiations follow Xbox CEO Asha Sharma and Chief Content Officer Matt Booty warning last week of a reset at Xbox, laying out several challenges facing the business. Well, again, a reset. Your CEO just said Xbox is broke ass. Like he literally said, we've been subsidizing Xbox for over 2 decades. That's not going to continue. Like Xbox is going to have to pay for itself. They said that it had overextended itself with its studio system, and the hardware component crisis is significantly driving up the prices. Nobody's going to buy a $1,200 console, especially if there aren't any exclusive games because everybody got fired. What are you thinking? Kotaku reported earlier on Monday that Microsoft was planning to shut down Compulsion, though it was noted in an update that studio leadership was in negotiations with Microsoft, and now they're saying also the South of Midnight studio is cooked. And now we have Polygon of all places, saying that Microsoft should just get out of games before it does even more damage. Yikes. Big yikes. It said studios are reportedly being given an option to buy back their independence or find a new home, but even in a best case scenario, there will be large scale layoffs. While the focus is on studios at risk of closure, July is certain to bring mass redundancies right across the Xbox group at Blizzard, Activision, Bethesda. Playground Games is riding high on the success of Forza Horizon 6, but consider that the studio has been making Fable at enormous cost for 9 years, and it might be hard for that game to ever make the money back. Nowhere is safe. It shouldn't take 9 years to make a game with that many people. There was the one studio when I think it was Ubisoft, when they were shutting, or no, it was NetEase. I think it was NetEase. They were shutting down a bunch of studios in the US that they'd acquired. And the one studio was in business for 5 or 6 years, and they didn't have a single game out. And they had like hundreds of people working there or something. It was like 100 people. I'm like, how the hell do you not get even one game out the door in 5 years if you've got that many people working for you? And they're all asking this question now because these games cost too damn much. They said maybe one place is safe. Last time this happened a year ago, I wrote, this would be the writer at Polygon. I wrote about Microsoft's terrible record running game studios. Afterward, an Xbox rep sent me a polite note offering a few counterpoints, including the observation that Minecraft and Mojang have thrived under Microsoft's ownership. I conceded that this was true and made me wonder what makes Mojang different. Minecraft was successful before Microsoft bought it. And some people would argue that Microsoft has over monetized it. They've nerfed it, but they're basically like, Microsoft didn't know how to make these studios work when they bought them. And this reminds me of Disney. Disney buys all this stuff thinking, well, it's a turnkey business, and they're not. When they bought the Muppets, for example, we've talked about this before. The Muppets have been neglected because Disney is not the Henson Company. The Muppets were very personal for Jim Henson. They understood the Muppets. Disney does not understand the Muppets or how to make it go. You're not buying a turnkey business, and they're expecting, these games to scale like Minecraft, and Minecraft was already a big deal. But this is interesting because they're saying on Polygon that Xbox shouldn't be shutting the studios down because they never should have bought them in the first place. They said, I'm sure the paydays for their founders were very nice, but the studios would have been better off not camping under Xbox's tent. In the end, Spencer's kindness was cruel. That would be the former boss, Phil Spencer, at Xbox. And they're like, yeah, they should just shut the damn thing down. They said making big safe bets isn't the answer to Xbox's woes. Sharma doesn't have a lot of options. She has to make cuts. She needs big games, but more than that, she needs a whole new way of thinking about the game business that isn't mired in a quarter century of wrong-headed decisions and strategic confusion. Reports have suggested that Microsoft is considering spinning off or even selling Xbox, and that might be for the best before any more collateral damage is done. Microsoft has never seemed to understand why it was making video games. Perhaps it never will. It doesn't make sense for them to be doing it. I talked about that yesterday. When you're a company like Microsoft, you don't want to be in the hardware business. You don't want to be selling games. I think they got into games because they thought it was going to be a gateway to basically get people into using Microsoft products, and that would lead them to Windows and everything else. I don't know what they're thinking. And I think they basically have kept Xbox alive because it was a force of habit, but the Xbox brand has declined significantly in the last decade or so. The last Xbox we bought was a 360. It was a great console, but it feels like nobody gives a shit over there anymore. And there's no reason to buy an Xbox because most of those games you can play on other systems. They're talking Halo's going to be on PlayStation. There's no reason for it. So when you've got Polygon telling Microsoft that they're probably better off to just shut the damn thing down or sell it off, it's pretty bad. And a couple of years ago, everybody was defending Xbox. They're like, it's just the chuds are just mad about the Xbox. No, it's failing. It's failing worse than anybody could have imagined. And the CEO of Microsoft and CEO of Xbox, they would not be out there saying the things they're saying because it does affect the stock unless they were planning on doing something very drastic. And they could be priming the pump to basically drop that other big boot, that other big shoe, and be like, yeah, we're selling Xbox to somebody, or we're gonna license out the Xbox name or something. But it's bad. It's worse than the worst case scenario right now at Xbox. But again, when you've got the CEO saying YouTubers are making more money off of our games than we are, Microsoft shareholders do not want to hear that. And I think this is his way of just getting people ready for when they shut the thing down or sell it off. But again, this is desperate. This was Geeky sent this over. This came from Insider Gaming. The buy now, pay later option is on the Xbox backend. Now look, every website now seems to have Klarna and some of the other, you can make, 10 payments on a $50 game over the course of a year and pay, $125 for it total. But it just tells me that if they're offering for gamers to finance their $50 games, it's pretty bad. They said a new purchasing option has appeared on Xbox's website, allowing players to pay later for their purchases. Xbox has been undergoing a lot of changes in the rebrand, and they're coming from all fronts. The console makers have already stated they would be looking at radically different business models in 2026, and it seems we're already seeing hints of that. Xbox could allow players to extend payments across weeks and months. So this was discovered by Red PHX on X, and it appears the players will be able to use the new feature via PayPal and Klarna. The description explains the new feature will allow players to spread their payments across weeks or months, bring more flexible payment options. Well, yeah, I mean, if the games are going to cost $80 to $100 and your target demographics, teenagers and young adults, you're going to have to offer them finance. You have to finance your video games. This is crazy. So they haven't officially announced it. They just put it as an option. I know some shopping sites have it kind of built in anyway, like Shopify has it built in. It's just an option you can use. But I don't know, man. I think we're at the end of the line here for Xbox. I think it's over. And they're just trying to get people ready for that. They're saying, look, Xbox is failing. It's indisputable. It's not making any money. This is why we're going to lay people off, and this is why we might sell the whole thing. Just saying. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.